Very warm and spirited welcome back, Nigeria. Thank you for staying with us up to this point on the TVC Breakfast Show. Now, Nigeria is at a significant point in its political and economic journey, with several developments shaping the national conversation. Economic reforms, changing political alliances, the cost of living and preparations for the 2027 elections are amongst the issues attracting attention. While reforms have helped improve government revenues and strengthen some fiscal indicators, challenges remain around inflation, public debt, insecurity, and household purchasing power. The question now is how these developments will influence governance, economic growth, and the everyday lives of Nigerians. Joining us for this conversation is APC chieftain, policy analyst, and human rights activist, Mr. Tunde Bank Anthony. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us on the table this morning.
Good morning.
Well, very welcome. This is a very robust conversation. I don't even know where to begin, but let's start with the big picture. 3 years into this administration, if you had to point to one area where Nigeria is demonstrably better than it was in the year 2023, what area would that be, and what evidence would you say supports this claim?
Okay, well, thank you very much, and good morning again. Right, you see, in the last 3 years, we have experienced growth, the microeconomy, the basic micro. People will tell you a big power or whatever, but what we are seeing, the figure are different. Clearly, I was going through Money Point reports. We spent 1.3 trillion on bread last year. I'm telling you, you can just fact check me, right? Our markets are not empty, right? I'm not talking about Spa or whatever. I'm talking about our markets, our market women, the informal sector, right, that are not captured. I'm talking about just Money Point platform alone, not OPay, not the normal banks. It's 294 billion last year. You understand? Then if you now go to the macroeconomics, right now as you speak, the fastest growing stock market in the world, the best, Google it, is Nigeria stock market. It is there. It is there. You understand me? I'm talking facts. So the point is that, you see, the problem is the feasibility of the principle is the problem. The problem is Ashwaju.
Can you expound on that phrase for us, please?
That's right. The feasibility, when you are too feasible, right, you become a victim of yourself. This about has refused to go above for the past 27 years. You understand? He has maintained a particular level, and it's just rising. So a lot of people see what they wanted to see themselves in him. So if you want to attack the policy of this government, right, at the end of the day, say the man is not doing anything. You understand me? So, but we just need a good person to communicate the achievement of this government.
Talking about communication.
Yes.
You know, we saw the NRS boss, who eloquently reeled out the gains of the administration. I think that was on Sunday. So, so he gave us data and all of that. Saying that the macro level has the economy has really stabilized to the extent that even the Bretton Woods, talk about World Bank, IMF. We saw the IMF. Is it IMF? The Ngozi Ikonji-Iweala,
the World Trade.
Yeah, World Trade. Yeah, WTO.
Yeah.
WTO. Are also commending the administration. Yeah. But we know that there is a disconnect between the macro and the micro. People are saying a big power is genuine because if you see the cost of transportation is still high up there, the cost of living is still high up there, the cost of rent is also very high up there. So when you look at that debate of GDP, growth, it's more like an abstraction of what it is like in people's mind. But what is in people's belly? Because if you look at the inflation as of June, is 15.91%. So at what point does government have to move beyond telling Nigerians that the reforms are working and demonstrate clearly how those reforms are improving the quality of people's lives?
Okay, I'm glad with your remark about Zach. You understand me? Communication is key when the government is trying to sell and let people understand what they are doing. And I will say this before I go to what I really wanted to say. Look at what Zach presented. There was no attack. There was no aggression. Common sense and very expressive, not Daniel Bauer. You don't need that to communicate with government, with your people. You have to connect with them. That should be very, very clear to them now. How people receive ZAC on Sunday nights. Fantastic. You see, the problem here is communicating with the people. Of course, inflation is high. But you see, you need somebody to put a spin on those things. You need somebody to be able to communicate these things to people. But the oppositions, the noise is too much. They are trying to build a mountain out of a molehill. I'm telling you the realistic fact. Because if a big power is true, I know things are always a bit difficult somewhere. That is the truth, right? But the point is that we look at our cost of production now, and what are we taking away from it? Do you understand me? Things are high, not because everybody assume now the inflation level, right? We saw prices go up, prices come down, but the basic line is that it's very difficult. You and I and the people who we are responsible for, right? Their demands are higher. But how do we cope with our own demands? Are we ready to forgo some of the things we enjoy? Of course we do. Most of us do to keep them satisfied to an extent. But there's a limit to it. It's a trickle-down economics. It's a trickle-down economics that some of those things will be taken care of. But the excessive noise, right, that, oh, they're not doing anything. Do you know what NEL Fund is doing to families? Let's be realistic. Do you know what NEL Fund is doing with the younger ones? Right? This is something, maybe in our old days, maybe we had what we call bursary. And we take it once a year. Yeah. You understand? But it doesn't exist anymore. To understand me, this NEL Fund is loan. Right? Even in the UK, they decided with grant, then it became loan. Right? Which make you more responsible. You get your loan, you finish your investment, you pay back at almost a very low interest rate. So the encouragement of government getting involved in the micro level is very clear. You understand? It's very, very clear. It's very, very clear.
So, Mr. Sean.
With increased oil production,
yes,
and also increased inputs into agriculture, being championed by the federal government and so many state governments, do you foresee in the next 1 year that prices probably will drop and inflation will come down to about single-digit inflation? And the reason is this. Headline inflation is driven by food inflation. And do you think the steps being taken by the federal government in terms of massive input, including tractors into agriculture, will bring down the headline inflation to a single digit from 15.2%?
I get that, yeah. You see, the point is that no doubt about that will happen. And I can tell you that, you know, this is Nigeria is a very fertile ground. If you go by road across this country, you understand me, you know we have enough and we need more. You understand me? The hype about it, there's a lot of massive, aggressive direction towards agriculture. Even I have a sack of fertilizer in my house now as we speak. To be sincere, doing my own vegetable, doing my own little snail in my house. So the point is that, you see, the state government, the federal government, and don't let's forget those areas with difficulty, challenges of those invaders, of this kidnappers that has driven them out of agriculture, right? But by the time we stabilize, right, definitely this thing will go up. But I can assure you that prices was higher than this before now. This time last year, I can tell you, somebody was telling me, will you go to London and buy me tomatoes? Just a joke, but it was very high. But right now, look at where we are now with tomatoes. Look at where we are now with yam. We don't have shortage of those things. But the farmers that are doing it, they are there. But it is what they hear that forces their own price up as well. It's like they can't be working for nothing when you guys are living like this. So at the end of everybody's trying to move up. And at the end of the day, the government policy in that area can only encourage them to move up. If we go into complete or more of mechanized farming, if our farmers are ready to listen Look at our financial transaction now. All those market women have money point, they have to pay. And they are being captured in the system. So one way or the other, it's a gradual thing. It's not something you have to coerce by force. Gradual thing, we will get the picture we are looking at. But it's not as if doomsday is coming. No, better days are coming.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Sir.
Okay. Well, I think I can see your point, particularly when you look at the importance of all those landmark projects, Sokoto to Badagry Highway, which will open up a lot of areas, you know, help in the evacuation of goods, you know, down to major markets. And it will also bring down the cost of logistics, and that invariably will affect the cost of
everything. Is
probably
interwoven.
the next 1 or 2 years. It's all interwoven, which is, I think it's the kind of intervention which the president did. When you look at our debt, at a point our debt was so crushing for our country. But what they did was, when you are spending 97% of your revenue to finance debt, and simply
what's left?
The federal government decided to, rather than borrowing money on 2 digits, decided to borrow money on single digits and then pay it off. And invariably, many people were saying, we are borrowing too much, only to realize that the economy is even growing faster.
Of course.
To the extent that the debt to GDP ratio is now
you could hear what Sanusi said.
32.3%.
You could hear what Sanusi said himself.
Compared to major economies that you can compare to us.
Yeah,
I mean, if you talk about Egypt is 85%. Talk about South Africa is 80%.
80%, yes. Where are we now?
To GDP ratio, whereas in Nigeria it's 32.
That is it.
You notice people are not talking about that anymore, saying that the government is borrowing too much, because they are only borrowing on single digit to repay
what we are supposed to be paying
on
for
double
digit.
digit. You know, is that kind of financial re-engineering. Unfortunately, in agriculture, it will take a little bit more time before we begin to see the dividends.
Because we need to go to mechanize more.
Absolutely. Now we've discussed the numbers and the macro and the micro economics. Thank you for all the stats, team. But I want to bring it back to politics. We are undoubtedly, whether we like it or not, heading up to the 2027 or actively in the 2027 election cycle. And many political experts would argue that the 2027 elections are going to be a referendum on President Tinubu's reforms and his economic security and all cadres of society. It's going to be a referendum on his record and his performance. As an APC chieftain, what is the APC strategy as it stands? Because the opposition is exploiting people's sentiments towards President Tinubu. But the APC insists that these reforms are necessary for growth. They are necessary for change. It's like, they describe it as performing a painful surgery. Where do you guys stand on this? Because we're entering 2027 and people aren't happy.
You see, this is more of my own forte. I'm a paperweight in economics.
Okay.
Right. You see, you media, you direct the narratives. You know that.
You think so?
Yeah, of course you direct the narratives. You understand me? And the point is that, you see, when you look at all this noise, right, it's a referendum. Fine, you see. But on what he has done, right, on what he has failed in doing, you understand me? We could have done better, more, right? Need of security. You understand me? Without a doubt, anybody will tell you that. But when you come down to common sense and the basic needs, what are we talking about? Look at education. Look at health. You understand? Look at the environment. You understand me? So let us take, that's why I told them, don't even call me APC, so I don't sound as if I'm being partisan. Do you understand me? Let's be realistic about these things. Just let's look around the whole space we are today now. Where are we now in the global market? Look at the stability of our education system. Where are the strikes? Look at our medicals. Do you understand me? Look at the quality of people. Like I said 4 years ago, Asiwaju is one of the best resources of man. He knows how to put resources together. He knows what you are good at. If he's going to chase Show to the hole, to get him down to the table, he will. You understand me? This was the same man that was clamoring Wale Edun to be minister from way back. When they got to a point that he sees him as this man is now incapacitated, he excused him. He brought in a fresh blood. So the point is that you see, but I don't want to go too political. Where are the opponents? You understand me? Where are the opponents? Understand me? Maybe 4 years ago, maybe our kids were obedient or whatever they call themselves. They've seen a clearer picture of what is going on now. And the man, the last time, it was a health issue. He was not well. He was not this. It was this. It was that. Now, you could see the man standing and, you understand me, talking less. But let me advise his advisors, for God's sake, is people don't cry more than the bereaved. As I use a politician, I said over and over again, they will abuse me, they will stone me. Leave it with me. Do you understand me? In trying to impress your boss, you understand me? Take your time. Look at his body language. Don't just rush there and overeat the polity. No, it's not fair. Do you understand me? You are not APC more than us now. You are in government. We are the people on the street. People come to us and they tell us things you don't know.
Absolutely.
So I will appeal to them to they should not overeat the polity because they are trying to defend the president. The president, like he will tell you, when I was president, if the people see my picture in the paper, they want to read it. You are making money. They say, I shall go somewhere. People want to take it. They are making money off me. So he knows. His name and identity is what makes money for some people. I just even know.
He's a marketable personality.
In 30 seconds,
yes.
I'd like you to land on your point. What you want people to take away from this conversation and from your stance on this administration.
This country is moving forward. You cannot afford a detour right now. You can't afford a detour right now. This trajectory we are on, please, that is the way forward, and that's the way for Nigeria to go.
Absolutely. That's a good place to leave the conversation. Thank you so much for your time on the table this morning. Mr. Tunde Bank Anthony is a public affairs and policy expert and an APC chieftain. Still ahead on TVC Breakfast
Is there.
are the government's interventions addressing the real challenges that are facing